Alright, we got us a no cooling call. Filter looks good. 86 degrees up in here. Wow. Set to 70. Fan is on. Third floor. It is hot, bros. They broke yellow, so hopefully it's just the float switch. Nope, bone dry. Let's go outside and see what's going on with the condenser. Alright, so here's our unit right here. Nothing's on at all. No fan, no compressor, nothing. And take the cover off, see what's happening, see if we got 24 volts coming down. Alright, broke out the multimeter. I see the contactor is made. It's pushed in. Let's see if we've got high voltage. No, we don't. 1.7 millivolts. So yeah, there's no high voltage. Now, if you guys remember from my past videos, if this goes bad, it'll start tripping the breaker. So I bet that breaker is tripped upstairs. That capacitor looks new. That's a Titan. Someone's been here recently. So let's go check the breaker upstairs. Yep, breaker is tripped. See how those are a little further over and this one's in the middle. So yeah, bet we got us a bad hard start. Seen it a bunch of times out here now. When that hard start starts going bad, trips the breaker. So let's go test it. Just take off the two wires. Put our meter on cap. If you've got a field piece or some other meter, it would be MFD, but my Craftsman says cap. A lot of guys ask how old that thing is. I bought it like in 2007 or 8, so that meter has been a good one. Leads on both of the terminals, so this thing should be between 88 and 108, and as you can see, we're getting 0. So this hard start is bad. And that's why it's stripping the breaker. Seen it many times out here, many times. So I'm just going to replace this whole deal, that and that. Just go all new. Yeah, so there's my new one. We get them off Amazon. They come already hooked up. Pretty much, you just screw it into the unit. That's it. Comes already wired up and everything. I'll leave a link to one of these in the description below, like I always do. And we'll take it out and I'll show you what the ohms, or the microfarads, actually, what the microfarads should read. Let's get this old one out first. And these units are all of 2 years old. Say what you want about my nice new property, but it is an HVAC nightmare. I'm gonna learn so much. And I believe in all my heart of hearts that every freaking coil is leaking out here. I feel like I've been to every coil and had to add juice to it. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more wire on the capacitor. The red. Alright, got the new one here. Already comes with the wires on it, skid, which is nice. So you don't really have to remember where any wires go or anything like that. We'll ohm out this good one just to show you where it's supposed to be. It says between 88 and like 108. Yeah, 88, 108. It says it right there on the hard start. So yellow goes to Herm on the capacitor, red to Common. This capacitor looks new. I'll test it anyway, just to make sure. Black on the Common side of the contactor. is it. Screw the hard start back down. I kind of like plumbing strap better than this zip tie they send it with. Alright, this is the good hard start. Got my leads on both the terminals, and as you can see, 112, so that means it's good. Remember the other one was 0. So I'm going to test the capacitor, just make sure that's good. I'm sure it is. I'm not going to do it on camera. Last thing YouTube needs is another capacitor video, right? Alright, the capacitor is a 35.5. I got 35 on the Herm and 5 on the fan, so it's good. Let's go turn the breaker back on and see what happens. Alright, let's see what happens here. Uh-oh. Popping immediately. What the heck? I wonder if that hard start being low fried the compressor. Oh my god. Well, let's go do some more digging. Alright, I pulled the disconnect. See what happens. Might have a bad breaker, big dog. Disconnect is pulled, so it's not even, it hits the disconnect and it's not even making it out to the condenser. Let me take this panel off. I wonder if this breaker's bad. Yeah, I pulled the cover off the disconnect. All the wires look good in there, nice and tight. So power's not even going to the condensing unit, and the breaker's still tripping. So I'm gonna take all these screws off, pull this breaker panel off. I'll be back. So there's my breaker right here. Here's the wires. Why's it got doggone tape on it? Let's try to pull it out and take a look. I had to take my hat off because it is hot, brosive. Busting beads. Everything looks good here. All the wires are tight. Pull it out and check it with the meter. Nothing looks burned. Give it the old sniff test. Gotta test the breaker here. Just turn it on. So it's staying up when I do that. So all I'm gonna do is set my meter to continuity where it beeps. I'm gonna touch the screw here and the back there. Screw here, back. If I hear it beep, it means it's good. So that side's good. That side's good. What the heck? Alright guys, I put the same breaker back in. I just stripped it back to some fresh wire. It was beeping on continuity on both sides. I even ohmed it out. Both sides were ohming at 5. So I put it back in, threw it back on. As you can see, it's staying on. So who knows? I'm going to go put the disconnect in and see if we have success. Yeah, so that breaker was tripping with the disconnect out. So the power wasn't even going to the condensing unit. It was in between here and the breaker box. That's why it was tripping. And I looked in here. Everything looked good. Nothing crazy or burned. No wires touching. So it was definitely between here and the breaker box, whatever it was. Maybe it was just I needed to take it out and cut it back to some fresh copper. Alright, with the disconnect in, it's still on. I mean, you guys saw it. As soon as I was throwing it, that sucker was popping back into the middle. Even with the disconnect out. I gotta keep moving here, man. There's microwaves not working. AC's freezing up. I'd love to sit here and nerd out on the system, you know, and turn the plenum into a porcupine with probes and meters, but I gotta keep it moving, guys. This is property management, not HVAC. A lot of HVAC guys stop by and saying, oh, you need to do this and check that. Guys, I don't have time. Hooray, we did it, Broseph. Staying on. Wow, what a trip, man. Bad hard start, breaker not staying on. Probably just needed some fresh copper and some tighten down. All right, I'm gonna put the cover back on and I'm gonna hang out with it a little bit, but I feel confident. I mean, it was tripping immediately and now it's not, so I feel pretty confident to walk away and move on to the other stuff. What's going on, big dog? We got a Pfister pull down sprayer, Pfister faucet, and it is not going into stream. It's just staying on spray. And since a lot of guys on my last video that I made about these things are like, oh, you didn't fix it, you just replaced the head, I'm gonna fix it this time. So it's not going into stream, it's just staying on spray. And here's how you fix it. Put my sink stopper in just in case something falls out, it doesn't go down the drain. There's a little washer in here, little black rubber washer. You're gonna need that. If you don't have that, it will leak all over the place. There it is. Yeah, there's the little rubber washer that comes out of there. Make sure you hold on to that and don't lose it, because it will leak. It goes on top like that and then you screw it up in there. All right, let's fix the sprayer. All right, what's going on is these buttons have springs in them. And you can just pry the button out. I get my little flathead, pry the button up out of there. Sometimes I'll give you a hard time, just be patient. There we go, here's my top one. Try to keep the camera in focus here. Get the bottom button out. They have springs in it, and the reason why I replaced the head is because we don't have springs for these things. And let me try to get the focus here. We don't have springs, and my experience with plumbing springs, like just stretching them out, the springs, they eventually lose their elasticity again, and it quits working again. So I just replace it and be done with it. I just took my little flathead and gave it a spin. So this little locking ring goes on top. You want to take that off. Set that aside by our buttons here. All right, this little tab on top, push it up, and everything should come out of the bottom. There we go. Just give that little tab a little push, and then everything will drop out. Push the buttons in with your fingers to get it to go through, and there you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew this with our adjustable wrench, and there'll be a spring in there. All right, once you get the guts out, take the adjustable wrench, and the spring sits behind here. I recommend getting some new springs if you can find them, but we don't have new springs, so that's why I replaced the head. And man, I had a subscriber just absolutely lose his mind. I had to block the guy, calling me a hack, yada yada yada, because I replaced the head. We don't have springs, big dog. And that's the spring, so what's going on is it just loses its bounciness and elasticity. So what I'm going to do is just stretch it. And once you get the spring out, you just stretch it. Make it a little longer than it is. That's all you got to do. Just give it a pull. Do a little bit in the middle. It's just my experience with stretching plumbing springs is they'll lose their elasticity again, and you'll be right back in there. So that's it. All I did was pull it, made it a little bit longer. Now we'll put it back in there. and just do everything in reverse. Put it back together. So this is how you can fix it. Although I do recommend getting new springs. Again, we didn't have new springs. That's why I replaced the whole head on the last video. These people pay a lot of money for rent, and I hate callbacks. Yeah, the guy, subscriber, lost his mind, called me a hack for replacing the head, all kind of stuff. So I blocked him. And then he made another account and came back and attacked me, so really bizarre. All right, just screw that back down tight and do everything in reverse. Put it back together. There we go, get our lock-in ring. It's a real easy fix if you got the new springs to do it. Just tighten this down a little bit. Snap our buttons back on. There we go. Yeah, it's got some good spring now, so that'll fix it. Now we'll screw it back on and test it out. All right, before you screw the head back up there, don't forget your rubber washer. If you don't have it, it will spray and leak everywhere. So put that on first, then screw it up. This is a Pfister too, by the way, just to remind you guys, if you've got another brand, it might be a little different. That I can't tell, I don't know. So let's try it out. There's stream. That's what I wasn't doing before. It was stuck on spray. There's spray. And there's stream. So yeah, stretching the spring fixes it. For how long? Who knows? All right, that's how you can fix it. Just pull that old spring out there and give it a stretch. Spray, stream, spray. Brake, give you a dishwasher video. It said it's making a clanking noise. Oh yeah, you can hear it clanking. It's like clank, clank. Better. You can kind of hear it's like clink, clink. It's like something's in there, man. All right, before it fills up with water, I already know what it is. Eee. Thing's kind of dirty. Well, I mean, having, you know, this in there probably didn't help. Let me turn it back on real quick. Maybe that was it. No, I still hear it. Yeah, I still hear it. I hope that was coming up on camera. It's like a knocking noise. So we're just gonna take this wastebasket off. On this style of dishwasher, that's usually what it is. Something just gets caught up in this wastebasket here. There's a propeller down in there, kind of like a boat propeller. And sometimes popcorn seeds or popcorn kernels that get down in there, and that propeller will be smacking against them, making like a buzzing noise. There's 2 screws on each side here. Just get these screws out and then the top will come off. It's been a while since I've made one of these videos, so figured what the heck, give you guys a break from the low compressor savers and low leaky coils. Gotta pull this out. Let me set the camera down. Yeah, so today is July 13th. It's the 22nd anniversary of my 21st birthday. I'll let you guys do the math on that. So we take that out. There's also another little cover on top here. Pull that out. Now that you have everything open, you can dig your hand down in here. see what's clanking. Oh yeah, I feel it. I feel it. Oh man, it's deep. There it is, I got it. I think it's like a cover that goes over these. Whatever it is, it's hard. So that's what was clanking around on that propeller in there. Oh man, there's something else too. What is that? Oh, screw. Now that's the culprit. So if you ever get a work order for a noisy dishwasher, just pull the covers off and reach down in here. And you can feel the propeller. I'm turning the propeller right now with my fingers. And it's spinning freely. And there's nothing else in there. It's empty now, but there it is. Get that out of here. Now we'll just do everything in reverse. Put our cover back on. Ugh. That there. And this will go underneath the element. That's the easiest point I've done so far. And I'm sure some guys are like, oh, why don't you take the tower off? Oh, it's much easier. I mean, you can go ahead, man, but you risk snapping the little plastic piece. This stuff gets hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. This is cheap GE plastic. You snap that piece off, now this done so. So that's why I don't do it. I've learned the hard way. But you can if you want to. If you want to pull this off, be my guest. But when you snap that piece off and make this irrelevant, you got to throw it away. I want you to hear my voice with reverb and echo. Don't take this off. I wouldn't pull the tower off. Cheap plastic. All right, now we'll put our screws back in and take a listen. Yeah, I haven't done one of these in so long, I almost forgot to wash the basket. I try to wash it out as best I can. And yeah, if you also get a work order by, oh, something smells in my dishwasher, take this off and look underneath, man. It's usually sometimes caked with just crud and crap, and just clean that out too. Take that off and get your shop vac and clean it out. There's another tip for you guys if you ever get an old stinky dishwasher work order. All right, now we can put it back together. Yeah, this is the hard part, putting this thing back in. Make sure the orange ball is in there too. Without that orange ball, it won't drain on this style anyway. So just try to push this back in there like that. There we go. It won't drain if that's not in there. I've seen some that don't drain and that'll be popped out. And if you have a hard time, there's a little screw under here you can loosen, and that'll help you put it back in good. Just make sure you tighten it back down. I'll show you the cheap plastic tab on the other side of this that I'm talking about. If you want to take this out, now you do have that option. And I'll show you the cheap tab that I've broken off before, and I'm just like, you know, something. I'm here for something so easy. Now I gotta order another spray tower. The residents gotta wait, I don't know, a week or so. Here for a doggone dishwasher noise. Now I gotta wait for a spray tower because I broke the cheap plastic tab off. And you gotta remember, this stuff gets hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold for years, months, you know. It weakens over time. And here you come with your flathead like, oh, I'm just gonna pull this out and be easier. Boom, snapped it right off. All right, got the screws in. I'll show you what tab I'm talking about. Yeah, real quick, it's that tab right here. Right there where my finger is. You put a flathead behind that and kind of pull up a little bit, and you can pull this tower out, and it'll give you free reign to work. But over time it gets weak and you'll break that thing off, and oh, it just sends me to the moon. So yeah, a little dishwasher lesson here for you new guys. Alright, well, there's our culprit right there. I'm pretty confident that's gonna fix it. I mean, you can't have a screw and a little doodad in there hitting against the propeller. So I'm pretty confident that was it. light out of there. Oh yeah, that sounds better. No clankety clank, good to go. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Later.